Hi, folks. My name is Mohammed. I'm the CEO and co founder of Rasayel. In today's session, we're going to try something a little bit different. We are going to build a WhatsApp chatbot together. We're going to take an existing company, in this case, Uber, and we will look at one of their existing customer support journeys, and then we'll build that chatbot using Rasayel for WhatsApp. Now, I have never done this before. This is not scripted. So, what that means is we'll try to figure it out as we go right here on camera. You'll get to see how Rasayel works. You'll get to see how a WhatsApp chatbot is built. And you'll also have a realistic view on what are the issues you might face and how you can apply this to your business. So, let's get started. I have here with me the Uber app. So I'm just going to open it up on my phone and I'll pick one of the recent trips that I've had. Let's say this one here to the Grand Egyptian Museum. Now, I don't know the details of Uber's customer support processes, so we'll just go through it together. And we will head over to Rasayel. This is Rasayel. We will skip the inbox for now. We'll just go to the chatbot builder. That's through here. And we will create a new chatbot. So this is how we start. We'll say the type of flow is triggered when I receive a message and on this particular number. Now, do we need conditions? We can say at a specific time, maybe during weekdays or during weekends or certain hours, but I'm just going to say specific keywords. I wanted to trigger this chatbot if the keyword help is mentioned in the first message. So we will create this as a trigger. And now let's get started. All right. First, we want this to be as automated as possible. So we don't want the customer to interact outside of the flow. And so I'll look at my fallbacks first here. And if the user interacts outside of the flow, I'm going to ignore that. And if they click on multiple buttons twice, I'm also going to ignore that. This will keep the chatbot running on its own and allow the user to go from one node to another. Okay, so we'll start when I receive a WhatsApp message. Now let's look at this flow here. It says help. It shows me my ride information, help, find lost item, report safety issue, provide driver feedback, get ride help. So let's look at the nodes that we have in Rasayel. Over WhatsApp, we've got simple messages, interactive messages, WhatsApp flows, notes, and user replies. We also have some AI, but we're not going to use that for this demo. Now let's say I'll start with a simple message over here, and maybe I'll include an image too. So let's go here to, all right, Uber, there we go. Okay, we'll start with the Uber logo and okay, I'll connect that. Now that's our beginning. Now, in a real world, you will want to get some information from the customer first, such as, say, their ride number or their order number or something like that. And you can do that with what's called a user reply. So we can actually ask customers for their ride ID here. But for the purposes of this demo, I'm going to assume we already have that information. We've obtained the ride info and we're just getting into the help flow. So I'm going to delete this node and I will say, now an interactive message. An interactive message on WhatsApp is one that has multiple buttons and options that users can choose from and stuff like that. So we'll start with that right away and we'll say, Now, I want to give customers the following options: find a lost item, report safety issue, provide driver feedback, and so on. There are 4 options. I can either use buttons or I can use a list. I'm going to use a list in this case, and let's say find lost item. Oh, help. That's the title for our list. And we'll start with find lost item, enter. You can have a description here too. Report safety issue, and then provide driver feedback and get ride help. Okay. Now you'll notice on the Uber app, there are actually descriptions for these items. So I'm going to just copy that. We can help you get in touch with your driver. And for the other one, it said, let us know if you have a safety-related issue. And this is for issues that aren't safety-related. Get ride help is need help for something else. Find it here. Okay. So we have the beginnings of our flow, and we don't need this one, so we'll start there. Now you'll notice here that Rasayel is already reporting some errors, but these are of no concern. What these are saying is that each of these items need a following response within the chatbot. So as soon as we connect it to something else, that error should go away. Okay, now let's move on to the following menu. So on the app here, I've got find lost item, and if I click on it, it'll send me a message. So let's do that. What we need is another node. In this case, a node with some options. So I'll have another interactive message from find lost item, and we'll say let's say something as simple as that. Contact driver. Can't reach driver. And then we have here more options. Now let's see what these actually do on the Uber app. If I say contact driver about a lost item, it says, since this trip occurred more than 30 days ago, please contact us for further help. So in this case, it's basically saying that you need to get in touch with a human person. And that's exactly what we can do here in Rasayel. And so I'm going to take this over here and say, contact us for help. Okay. And we'll make it bold. Actually, I'm not sure if it's 1 star or 2 stars, but let's just give it a shot. Since this trip occurred more than 30 days ago, please contact us for further help. Okay. And then from there, here's a simple message. We'll change this to, we'll connect you to who can help. And then I will then immediately connect them to an agent or maybe a team. I will connect them to the Rasayel team. Well, let's say in this case, I want to connect them to Alexandra, because Alexandra is the person responsible for lost items. So that's what we're going to do over here. All right. After that, we are going to... Okay, so we'll leave this at this for now. We can come back and edit it and add a few more things. I can also tag the conversation. So I can tag this conversation with lost item, for instance. Okay, so I've created a new tag, lost item. And now back to this flow. I couldn't reach my driver about a lost item. Okay, this one is a bit more elaborate. What this one does is if you can't reach the driver, it's going to ask you for information on what it is that you lost, and then it'll ask you for a phone number that you should enter, and then you'll submit that information. So we're going to do the same over here. And for this, we will start with maybe an interactive message, or yeah, let's do an interactive message. Now, the interesting thing is because this requires a form to be filled, what might actually be more suitable is a WhatsApp flow. And WhatsApp flows are forms within WhatsApp so that your user or your customer can actually fill in a form and submit it to you on WhatsApp, and you'll get that data and you can connect that to anything else that you're using. But let me not overcomplicate it today. I just want to show you the basics. So let's do that without a flow. We can do it with a regular interactive message. So can't reach driver. Okay. So we will have this as a list, and over here what it's asking for is select what you've lost, basically, right? If more than 24 hours have passed, can't reach your driver, will step in to help. And then it's got a list. What item did you lose? We'll have that as the list title. Oh. So WhatsApp has some limits on the number of characters in a title. So I'm just going to simplify this to lost item. And then we will start adding the items over here. Okay, we've got phone, bag, backpack. We'll do that, super easy. Phone, bag, wallet, clothing, headphones, glasses, hat. Okay. And there's also an option for other. Get this here. Okay. All right. And then after that, we'll ask them for their phone number. So we'll first get the information from them on what they lost, and then we'll ask them for their phone number. But we are on WhatsApp, so we already have their phone number. We don't need that step. Okay. Now, you'll notice here on this list that I can save this selection for use later. What that means is whatever they select from this list, I can save it so that I can pass this on to another automation, another system, make an API call, or just send it to the right team so that they know exactly what the customer is looking for. So I'm going to create a variable. I'm going to call it lost item. And I will say this is some text. We'll create that. Okay. So all of these, whichever one they choose, is going to be saved in what's called lost item. Okay. Now we want to pass this information over to a team member. So we will continue by first adding a note to the team, and we will connect each of these to that note. All right. Or actually, no, we need to notify the customer first that we've got their information. Okay. For reporting your lost item, We will contact you shortly. Okay. Now you can do quite a lot more. You can, for instance, make an API call to a ticketing system and give them a ticket ID. So you can drag an API node here, get a ticket ID, and then return it to them. But again, for the purposes of this session, we're not going to do that. We just want to work with the basic nodes. Okay, so now I've got this. Thank you for reporting your lost item. And I'm going to feed all of these options into that message. All right. Okay, so we have that. And then we will have a confirmation and a note. So this is the confirmation rather. We want to send a note to a teammate saying, hey, here's the information from this customer. So we'll say, and maybe we will tag Alexandra, who's the expert on the recovery team. And we will pick one of the variables here. We created one earlier called lost item. So we'll create that and boom. So this is going to add a private note to the chat to my teammate Alexandra saying this customer has lost their headphones or something like that. Okay. Now, of course, Alexandra can see the option that the customer has selected, but this is just to make her life easier and to also to demonstrate to you the concept. All right. Now, once this is done, I want to take an action. Let's say maybe we can take them back to the beginning, so we can return them to here. Say we jump to node. Right, select a node, and we want to jump back to this one. All right, perfect. We'll get them back to the first node. So restart the flow once this part is complete. And maybe before that, we want to add another message. Or over here, we can say, do you need help with anything else? All right. So this is what we've got so far. How many minutes in are we? All right. Now back to this. We've done this part. We've completed this lost item flow roughly. We still have to do something here under more options. And let's see what it says there. I think it just takes you back to the main menu. Yeah, just takes you back to more options. So for more options, we will do the same thing. We're just going to jump this person to the main node once again. And so this is what it's going to look like now. Okay, so let's move on to another part, report safety issue. So now this is getting quite very similar, very familiar. So I'm going to speed this up a tiny bit. We're going to create another node. Probably we will do safety issues and then we'll skip the others in the interest of time. So, and then we will have to go through our errors before really running this. So let's see, we want another interactive message. Report safety issues will come here. So if I click on safety, we'll go to the interactive message. We can put an image here if we want, or a header, let's say this type of header. Safety, similar to what is on the app. Let's call it help safety. Okay. And then we will give the customer the options that are listed here. My driver's vehicle was unsafe. We want a list because we want more than 3 options. So let's do that. And we will say unsafe driver's vehicle. You can have descriptions. Accident was discriminated against by my driver. Discrimination by driver. Dangerous driving. I've been on the receiving end of that. And then we have license plate mismatch. My driver didn't match the profile. Different driver. Driver didn't match the profile. I'm going to add that as a description. Different vehicle. Vehicle didn't match the profile. And then what else? We have emergency contact, unsafe safety incident reporting line. Let's see where this takes us. Okay. All right, so it's just a whole bunch of text. So maybe we will skip this one so that we can speed it up a little bit. All right, so we've got our list of items we have over here. And now we got to do something with these options. So let's start with the first one. It says unsafe driver's vehicle. Okay, so it basically goes on and on with more and more options. And then let's say I can say vehicle had mechanical issues. And if I click on submit, why did the vehicle feel unsafe? I'll enter some information. Okay. All right, let's do that. And the way you can do that is unsafe driver's vehicle. We will, in this case, let's give the customer a free form input so that they can say what they want. And we'll say, okay, we'll do this. We will say, can you please describe the safety issues you faced with the vehicle? And then we will link that to another node, which is a user reply. All right. And now when the answer is received, we want to do something with it. And so we will save that reply. And similar to what we did with the buttons, we want to create a variable. So we can create a variable here. Let's call it unsafe vehicle info. And we will choose text. So what this means is that whatever the user enters into in response to this message, we will save it under this unsafe vehicle info, and then we can do something with it later on. So we've gotten their response, and then we want to end this with another message and maybe take them back to the main menu. So we will say, all right, thank you for submitting this information. We'll get back to you soon. And do you need help with anything else? And we can probably jump back to the main node. So I'm just going to connect this once again to the jump to node that we did earlier that takes them back to the main menu. And you know what? We can do a similar thing here on this list, of lost items because we want the customer to be able to navigate back and forth. So I'm just going to add one called go back. And the only purpose of this is to just take them back to that node. So it's going to go back that way. And so when they click on go back, it's just going to bring them here. Okay. So look at that. That took us about 20 minutes. Maybe let's give it a test and see where we're at. And if this flow actually makes sense, we can come back and repair it if it does not. There's quite a lot more that we can do here, like getting extra help, providing driver feedback, and so on. But they're sort of along the same tone of the others. It's a menu after another, and you can basically follow this similar process to create that flow. One more thing I forgot to use, by the way, during this builder is conditions. Conditions allow us to split our flow based on certain conditions. For example, over here, when they've reported a lost item, before handing it off to the right person or the right individual or team, I could have added a condition to assess who the right person is depending on the type of info that the customer has given me. So for example, if they've reported the loss of money, that might be a different team. If they've reported the loss of clothing, if it's a different issue, I could then direct this to someone else. And the way that works is you can say, based on certain variables or based on tags, based on anything, whatever it is, let's add a simple condition over here. I'll add another condition. Let's say this attribute. Now, if they meet this condition, I can direct it to a different message. If they meet another condition, I can direct it to another message. So I will not be doing that in this video, but I just wanted to give you insight into what are the things that you can do. Okay, now in order to run our flow, we need to, let's rename this to Uber support team. We need to make sure that we've taken care of all the errors. So let's go through them one by one. The nice thing about this is if you click on response missing, it'll direct you to the exact place where that error is. And that's here, provide driver feedback, get right help. We didn't actually build anything for these two. So we are gonna have to do something with them. Let's say we can actually direct them to the same node. So we'll say, just go here and get right help. We're also gonna take it to the same place. Uber does this on their app, so I'm going to assume that's okay. And we also want to keep this flow a little bit short. Okay, we've taken care of two errors. What else? There are all of these. Okay. The safety issues. Can you please describe the issue that you're facing? All right. Let's also do the same thing. We will direct them all to this node over here. Maybe rename this a little bit. We take safety seriously at Uber, and I'm sure that they do. And okay, that's a beautiful flow, quite simple and straightforward. And now we have just a few more things. We have one empty response. Where is that? And one missing fallback. Okay, so the missing fallback here says that if the answer from this customer does not save, what do I do? So what does the chatbot do if the customer, if the input that they've given us fails to save for some reason or another? what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it on the same node. In a real world scenario, you'll want to deal with that by maybe asking them for the information once again. Okay, all right. Now it says there's one error still, but I don't see that. So let me just refresh and see if that takes care of it. Because we just connected a whole bunch of nodes, and maybe that will resolve the missing connection. Okay, empty response. Oh, empty response. Okay, where was that? Message response cannot be empty, and it's on this message. Right, okay, so there's our error. Please enter a response. Silly me, I just need to enter some text over here, and I'll say, what kind of safety issues have you faced on this trip? Okay, our bot is ready and we are good to launch it, and we'll see what that looks like. Excuse me. Okay, set live. Let's test it out. This bot is now live on this particular number, and I'm going to go to the Rasayel inbox. This is the I will close this conversation. We'll go to the chatbot inbox so you can see exactly how it interacts, and I'll message that number now. We said the keyword to trigger the chatbot is help, so I will try that. Okay, look at that. All right, obviously I didn't put the Uber logo correctly, and that's why we're testing this. So we can fix that with ease, but I'll also show you how it looks like in Rasayel. Yeah, clearly the Uber logo that I put was the wrong one. We can go back to the bot builder and fix that, but let's see at least if some of the flow makes sense. Please select one of the following. Now I notice immediately that the text is not descriptive enough. Maybe we need a bit more description over here, and maybe the title of this button needs to change. Just help is not so useful to the customer. Now I'll click on help, and immediately I'm getting the options that were visible on the Uber app. So if I go back to the Uber app, you'll see find lost item, report safety, provide driver feedback, get ride help. And that's very similar to what we see over here. Okay, so far so good. Now I'm going to say find lost item and send. Okay, so now it's asking me contact driver, can't reach driver, more options, giving me 3 buttons. And if you look at the bot builder here, we had these few options in place for the customer to choose from. And that's what I'm seeing on my WhatsApp. Now we want to try this flow, can't reach driver. So I'm going to click on can't reach driver. It tells me if more than 24 hours have passed and you can't reach your driver, we'll step in to help. I'll say lost item. Now, this again is that big list that we had of lost items with the option to go back. Now let's try going back to see if that works for us. Go back, send. Awesome. So we've got our loop going, allowing people to traverse the chatbot to go from one place to another if they've made, say, a selection mistake. So we'll try again. We'll say can't reach driver and lost item, and let's say headphones. And I'm going to send this. Thank you for reporting your lost item. We forwarded this information to our recovery team and we will contact you shortly. Do you need help with anything else? Now, here is one really important part. You'll notice that there's a private node added to Alexandra. This customer has lost headphones, so it's given it the information that we collected from the customer in this node, as I mentioned, and it sent her a private message. You'll notice on my WhatsApp that message does not appear. So that's a private note between you and your teammates. And then it takes me back to the main menu. Please select one of the following. I'll click on help. What else should we test? Let's say this one. We said this was reporting a safety issue. So we will try that. Report safety issue. Okay, what kind of safety issues have you faced? So I'm noticing something with this bot flow is that it lacks, first of all, it lacks a bit of the human personality. And so that's just in the messaging that we've written, but it also lacks images. It lacks images and helpful copy on the buttons. That's super easy to fix, and I'll show you how in a moment. Select safety issue, and we said, let's say, unsafe driver's vehicle. And again, to remind you, on the Uber app, report safety issue, these were the options that were given to the customer. So back to WhatsApp. Select safety issue. I will say, oh, there's a bit of a lag from my screen there. Okay. Unsafe driver's vehicle. And now it's going to ask me for freeform text. We take safety seriously at Uber. Can you please describe the safety issues that you faced? Please provide a timeline of and description of events if possible. The vehicle lost a wheel on the way. Okay. So this information again is taken into the chatbot flow, and now it has been saved as unsafe vehicle info, and I can do more information with this. I did not do that in this bot flow, but I can do that. And it's taken me again to the following node. Thank you for submitting this information. Do you need help with anything else? Please select one of the following. So we've got our closed loop, and let's do the final one where it connects them to a teammate and tags the conversation. So where was that? That was in find lost item. So we'll do that. Contact driver. Since this trip occurred more than 30 days ago, we'll connect you to someone on our team who can help. So that's the message I got. And now it's assigned Alexandra to this conversation, and it's taken the conversation out of the chatbot flow, and it's assigned it, as you can see here, to Alexandra. And that's it. So I think that for a first try, this was quite a successful attempt. There's, of course, so much more that we can do with WhatsApp chatbots, but I wanted to give you a sense and feeling of how it is to actually build one from scratch. You can do so much more, of course, with careful design and careful thinking, but it's not that hard. We put something together in 20 minutes. We tested it out, and for a first try, it worked just fine. Now, before I end this, I'll just assign this conversation back to me, and I'll go back to the bot. Now that we've seen live what are some of the issues, and this is the best way to find out if your chatbot actually makes sense, is to use it. So I'll make this as a draft. And first of all, I should have spotted this. I put in an image here, but it just looks white. And so that's something that I should replace. I went and picked one from the Uber brand assets, but that didn't quite work out. So that's all right, but that's an easy fix. You can just delete the image and replace it with another one. But here's something else that we spotted, and that's this message over here. This is not so helpful to the user. Super easy to fix. We can write something else over here. The button text was also not too helpful, so we can fix it. And once that's done, you can set it live and test it again and again and so on. And that's it. This is our mini Uber support flow over WhatsApp. I hope this was insightful. If you have any questions or need some help with WhatsApp business or with how to build a chatbot, please reach out to us. This is our phone number. You can contact us on WhatsApp or scan this code on your screen, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.